everyone, welcome to Kelly's Creative Dream Studios, and we're working on week 2 of our color challenge. And remember, our colors are the orange, brown, green, and white. You must use at least 3 of the 4 colors in your project, and it doesn't have to be the same project. You may use orange, white, and brown this week, and next week choose to use the green, the brown, and the white. You can mix it up. It's okay. If you're new to my channel, this is our monthly color challenge, where we are working with these colors to create either one complete project or lots of little. You can mass make stuff, whatever you want. You can do cards if you want. Do fall cards, Thanksgiving cards, grateful cards, whatever you want to make using these particular colors. Now, on Wednesday, we drew a stick from my craft jar, and our item to make today is doing something with a guest check. So that's what we're going to do today. Now, if you don't have a guest check, these are available for free download online. I will leave that link in the description box below. Comes in different colors. Or you can buy, I think they're like a 3 or 4 pack of these at Walmart, and they're not really super expensive, and they'll last you a long time. So whatever you want to play with is up to you. So this is what I'm going to work with today. I'm going to take my guest check off and try not to tear it. I may have to get down to the point where I just take that off, but that's for another day. It's for another day. Now, I learned from dear Julie, she always takes this bottom piece, almost always takes this bottom piece off of her guest checks. And I like that idea, because if you're something particular, if it's going to go in and out of a pocket, chances are this is going to wind up getting torn off anyway. So we're okay with that. So we just take it off from the beginning and not worry about it. Now, I'm going to start by taking this down, because I want just the numbers on there. Get rid of the scrap pieces. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start by laying a piece of my lace on this side. Now, I guess before I get started, let me show you the one I made earlier that I'm going to work with. I think this is going to wind up actually, it has lines on the back for journaling, but it's really thin. So I haven't decided if I'm going to leave it as is, because I mean, you're not really going to be able to journal on the back of there anyway with the with the bumpiness. So I could put it on a piece of cardstock, and I have cardstock in my 3 colors over here that I'm working with. And apparently I don't have a brown one, an orange one cut. But I could do this, and I could glue the orange on here, and that would add a little bit of stability. Now, this isn't good quality cardstock. I'm trying to use up all of my Recollections cardstock and free up space on my shelf. So, but I think this is what I'm going to probably wind up backing that one with. So, with that in mind, let's continue with the guest check we're making. Now, you'll notice I have the lace on the side, and one of the things about the lace, it's one of the continuity items that I am using in my journal. And I picked 2 to 3 different items to use throughout the journal, because as different as everything can get in a junk journal, this kind of brings a cohesion to your journal and makes everything look like it belongs. So I'm going to just use my craft glue. I absolutely love, and I know I say it at every show, I think, that I absolutely love my silicone brushes. Now, they're not really a brush. They're more of a palette knife or whatever. But I get these through Spectrum Art Creations. They come in a 3-pack, and they are absolutely great for anything that is sticky, because you don't have to worry about washing it up right away. Just leave whatever you haven't used on there and let it dry, and when it's done, just peel it off. Now, I will give you a tip. Hold on to this when you're pulling this off, because since this is silicone, you can't glue it to the inside of the holder. This is just crimped on here. So you're going to want to hold on to your silicone as you're pulling off your dried glue. Just a tip. Now, I have thought about taking a tack and putting a tack right through here and bending it over, you know, so, but that might hold it in there a little better. But I just remember to just hang on to it. Now I'm going to go ahead and snip this off. So there's one of my continuity pieces in this journal. Now this is Dollar Tree lace. Every time I see it, I pick up 2 or 3 rolls because I use it in a lot of my projects because I love vintage. Okay, now I've got a strip of my green leaf piece here where I had cut out this is from the paper pad that I'm using inside this journal, so everything comes together. Everything matches. It has the color palette that I'm working with. Okay. Now we can go, this is a little thick this way. I have a gnat over here bothering me. Not anymore. Not anymore. Okay, we're going to go that way. I'm going to flip it over and clip that side off because I want the more slender piece, and I want to put it right here against the thank you call again. And I'll have to come back and snip this off some more, but for now I just want to give it a start. And it's not straight. It's thicker at one end than it is on the other. That's perfectly fine. Okay. And then I'm going to use my Tombow. And I'm using this paper to cover up the thank you call again down here. Just like that. Now this one, I use the stripes, and I think I'm going to use the leaves this time on this one. So I'll just lay it up there to cover up those words. Press that into place. The neat thing about Tombow is it dries really fast, so that was a quick layover. Then I'm using this washi tape. This is one of 3 that I'm using in the journal, and I'm going to use it to cover up the tax and total line. But I'm not going all the way over. Get my sticky scissors here. Love my little mini sticky scissors. I could tear that, I could. And then I'm going to lay this right up against that ribbon and just a hair over the edge of the paper so they kind of blend and become one. Okay, just like that. Now, I had done this ticket, and I have another one of those. They come from, this is called Herbarium Wild Summer from Scrapmere. And I'm just going to cut this one out here because ooh, there's another one that I could use. Is that the other one I had cut out? It is. But I've done this, and now I have my scissors here. And you know, these are the ones that we thought we all needed, and we bought every one of the shapes that it'd do, and then they wound up, you know, in a box or a drawer and never touched again. Get them out and put them to use. Those edges are perfect for this. Now I'm using, you'll see that there's a little notch on your ticket, and the 1/4-inch hole punch is perfect for this. You can just nip that hole right out of there. Just like that. And then I'm going to come back with my scissors, and I'm going to take off those ends. Now if you want a real perforated edge, a great tool to use, actually a pair of tools, is your mouse pad and a tracing wheel. Now I do have the Tim Holtz tool that makes this as well, but you can perforate these to where you can make them tearable tickets. And you really have to have the mouse pad to get the pressure all the way through, but it's an option. And so, you know, dig in Mom's sewing box or check your own sewing drawers, check at thrift stores, keep an eye out for them. They wind up in lots of places. Now I'm going to dust this with my walnut stain ink. And while I'm putting this together, remember we do have premiere tomorrow morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But here's the thing. I may or may not be visible. I am going to be heading for Springfield. Bob is home, and I'm taking a couple of days off. Donna, my sister from Crazy Lady Creations, and I are going to do a sister day on Saturday. So I'm going into Springfield for a couple of days, and as early as I'm leaving, I hope to be sitting somewhere in time, but I'm not swearing by it. So there's that. Now I don't have the Tiny Tot stapler, but I do have this little the tiny attacher, but I do have this Tiny Tot, and it works just fine. And I'm going to move that up just a hair, because I noticed on the other one I just barely hit the ticket. There's that. Okay, now think of this part of the ticket from the guest check as a floating shelf, and that's what we're going to do. I'm going to take and use, no, I did not use those on this. I take that back. But I only glued the ticket part, not the piece from the guest check. I left it flowing freely. Just like this. I'm putting it up here. I'm going under the check number, but I'm covering up the number because it's the same number that's here. Now see, this floats loose, and so anytime you can create movement, whether it actually moves or not, is immaterial. As long as it appears to move, then you're on the right track. And I did not glue that on there straight. So I'm going to try that again. I like that better. So see, it's flips. It's free moving, whereas this is stationary. Okay, then we have this. Now the other thing I did was I used parts of the paper pad that I'm using, and I created a dimensional pumpkin. And I have my fussy scissors now, so I can do that. We're going to see I've got another one of the bigger pumpkins. This one is not exactly this pumpkin, but we're going to pretend it is. So I'm going to come in here and cut this apart. Cut this out. Actually, I think I could use this one that's over here, because I'm going to come back with my fussy cut scissors. Even though this is missing over here, when I glue this pumpkin into place, you're not going to tell the difference. So that's perfect for this. This is a great way to use your cutoffs on your pages. You know, there's always something in the page that you don't get all of, because they're printed to the edge, so you don't always get full images towards the edge of the paper. And this lets you utilize those partial pieces, those cutoffs on the print. Okay. Now I'm going to use this whole thing just the way it is. I'm not going to separate anything out, and I don't know why I cut that one out the first time. I wouldn't have had to, because I'm going to bury it anyway. So I've come in here and I've cut that out. Okay, now we have that. Now I need one of these. So that's why I cut it out, because I had to have this one. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to cut one of these out. And I'm going to try and do this rather quickly. And I don't have to be exact. If some of the background shows, it's okay, because I'm going to cover it up when I distress it with the walnut stain ink anyway. So we're good with that. I try to do 3 things on, and I got that rule of thumb kind of from Dear Julie Julie. But it wasn't so much the rule of thumb from Dear Julie Julie as the fact that different items on your piece allow your piece to showcase different things. And I don't know if that makes sense, but you don't want everything to be the same. It would be like putting on a red blouse, a red pair of pants, red knee highs, and red shoes. You'd just be one solid thing. You know, everything would be the same. You want to add interest to your piece by adding the different things. Now I'm going to glue this whole thing down as it is using my Tombow. And actually, you know what? I think I did do this one with dimensionals. So let me hold that thought. Dab that off, because I did add this, did bump this up. So let's do that. Now this one comes in. This one I did glue flat to that pumpkin. It still creates a shadow, so it still lets it stand out. Then I will come in and add the Tombow to this one, not the big one. Okay, just like that. This isn't the exact pumpkin, and so I'm just going to try and match it up a little bit, not perfect. Now this one, the little bitty one, will edge again. And this is where we can get rid of that little bit of orange that I couldn't cut off. Now this one we're going to bring up on mini dimensionals. This one we're going to raise up. And I'm using, instead of doing one big dimensional in the center, I'm doing the 3 small ones closer to the edge. And that, again, makes a difference in how it pops up on your item. So I'm going to pull these off. So I try to have something that has metal, if I can. I try to add something soft, which is my lace or ribbon. And I try to add some kind of wording or something that would simulate words. Now, see, I've got that stuck. I got to pick it up. And I'm going to come back on this one, and I'm going to use my bigger dimensionals and let this one come up like this. So tomorrow, I'm joining in with Maddie at Spectrum Art Creations for Finish It Friday. So from now till the end of the year, I will be finishing projects that I have started. Now, who else has those? Anybody else have projects that they've started and they need to finish? This is the perfect time. Finish it Friday, get them out, get them done. Now, I did add some metal to this. And what I did was I had these metals that I had bought by the pack from Maddie at Spectrum Arts. And I just color them with my Stampin' Blends. Stampin' Blends are an alcohol marker, so if you have Sharpies or you have Copics. There was another one that was out a couple of years ago that was really big. That if you have alcohol markers of any kind, you can color your metals to be whatever color you want them to be. So I've colored this with a green. And now I'm going to come back in with the brown and I'm going to do the stem. And again, it adds a little extra color. And it'll take just a second for that to dry. If you want to, you can heat set it. And then I'm going to use my E6000, and I've said before, but if you're new to my channel, you can buy these small tubes. I think they come 3 to a pack. They don't ooze out when you open them up like the big tube does, which does 2 things. Number 1, you have time to lay it down without trying to quick put the cap on. You can just lay it down while you glue your piece into place. That's one bonus. The other thing is because it doesn't ooze, except when you get too much on the back of your piece, because it doesn't ooze, you have time to put your cap on and it doesn't glue your cap back on. I don't know how many tubes of the big ones I've tossed because they'd oozed and I couldn't get them cleaned off fast enough to put the cap on, and then my cap would be glued in place permanently and I'd had to pitch them. I have yet to pitch a small tube of E6000 until it's completely gone. And I store them in a little medicine cup over here on my glue cart. Just that easy. Now, we have those. Now, I do like to add words to everything, and we've got this up here. Admit one, we've got the words, but I like to put something a little more motivational. So let's do this. I've been using the black cat stickers from Tim Holtz, partly because against some of this, the black almost looks like it could be a coffee brown. And I also don't trust the sticky on the back of the cat stickers. I always add a little bit of glue. Always, always, always. And then let's see if we can stick this in there. And there we have words. And there is our guest check for today. And there is the one that I did. Now I will do 3 more of these because I'm going to include one in the belly bands that we're going to be making. If they don't come up on a stick, we'll be doing them on a different day. But I'm going to need the belly bands for these. And I'm putting them on the back of each one of the 5 signatures in this folder envelope journal. So this is where we're at for today. 2 guest checks for our challenge for the KCD September Junk Journal 23 Color Challenge. So tell me, what would you do different? Are you playing in any of the challenges? What colors are you finding yourself using more than others? I hope you'll leave me a comment down below. Remember, like, to share, subscribe, and creative blessings.